up early, markets on the screen, coffee on the counter, know what I mean? Charts on the wall, headlines roll, trying to see where the money will flow. Wall Street whisper, blockchain code, old world rails on a brand new road. Tokenized markets, futures unfold, quiet little stories turning into gold. Sunrise macro, new day begins. Regulators talking while the money rolls in. Bitcoin steady while the systems align, building the rails for the next bull climb. From London summits to the trading floor, BlackRock knocking on the crypto door. Oil on chain and the banks take aim. Different game, but the rules the same. Slow morning rhythm, watch the tape. Institutions moving, but it's still first take. You can feel it coming if you zoom out wide. Hold that mark, is shifting on chain tide. Morning macro, let the music play. Another big move starting today.
Yo, GM, guys. Hope you are doing well. Happy Friday. We're back. We're so back. Not only that, like, are we back because, like, the price is going up today? It's only 2% up. I get it. Bitcoin's having an all right morning. Pumping to 72. Put some technicals out there. Looking for a nice little, probably a pump today. If you're going long, wait for a little bit more of a dip. I think we'll go through all of this stuff today. We got a bunch of stuff in the news, some headlines to look at. Those, in case you're new here, first off, the ones that are watching live, the homies that were in the chat, congratulations to my guy Curtis picking up the gold medal today. No Brian yet. He must be salty. You know what? I bet he checked in and saw that that Curtis got the gold. And he said, you know what? Fuck it. He's bitter today. He's upset. But we appreciate you guys all being here. All jokes aside, I love how we're creating again the urgency to be the first to post. I love that. But anyway, GM guys, appreciate y'all being here. Make sure you smash that like button. We are live on X, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So wherever you are consuming this content, I appreciate you. Big time. Definitely do. Happy Friday. It is pizza day. I got my pizza mug. I don't have my pizza shirt on today, but that's all right. That's all right. And they say money can't buy happiness, but it can buy pizza. And that's the same damn thing. Sorry, I forget. I don't really want to be doing that. Triggering bad memories for some reason. I don't mean to, but, it is what it is. Anyway, got a fun show planned for you today, guys. Make sure you smash the like button. If you are watching on YouTube, if you're watching on X, it's a heart, and on LinkedIn, I think it's like a thumb. It's like a Facebook thumb, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to check one of these days, and then this way, I'll be able to say the right thing of what you should be doing. I know that you can react to posts on LinkedIn, so maybe just do that. We'll check it out. But let's see. We'll go through some of the market stuff really quick, and then we'll go through some headlines, and we got some charts to pull up the all the way through. And then we'll get back into Trading View at the last tab that I've got open is Trading View. So make sure if you have any coins or any tickers that you want to see on the charts, we can draw some lines. We could have the leapfrog indicator on. We can do all that stuff. We'll have some fun at the end of the show. It is Friday. Also, because things are a little different around here. Hey. Mamma mia, Papa Pia, do you want to order the pizzeria? We'll do a little bit. We'll do a pizza section at the end as well too. So it is Friday. I had the last 2 days off, unintentionally. I was really excited about the consistency of the entire last week, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday of this week. And in case you do not know, I did post a lot of stuff about this, over the past couple days, but had a flight. My daughter and I were flying to Chicago Tuesday afternoon. It's like an hour and a half flight up to Chicago from Atlanta. It's real easy. Maybe like an hour and 40 minutes, hour and 45, whatever. It is not a long flight. Ultimately, we pull off the gate, and we knew that there were storms in Chicago, but we pull off the gate, and then we start getting out to we're taxiing out to the runway, and the pilot comes on and says, "Hey, you know what? So it looks like we've got some storms, and we're gonna, we've been given clearance to fly around them, so we're gonna go back to the gate. We're gonna get more fuel because we're too light to do what we need to do." And so, all that being said and done. Now, this turned out to be a pretty cool experience, and I'll pull up some pictures. I've got a few show and tell. I probably could have loaded them into here, which maybe I still could, actually. And so, all right. So the first thing is we pull into the gate, and I thought this was a little strange myself in the beginning, because I thought, like, on an active plane that's about to go out, usually like no one's allowed into the cockpit, right? But so we get to the fuel, and the pilot says, "Hey," and he's a really nice guy, by the way. And he says, "Hey, by the way, we're going to be here for about 5 to 10 minutes. Anybody wants to pop into the cockpit, take some pictures and check it out, you're more than welcome to." And so my daughter and I were sitting in row 6, and I say, "Honey, take your seatbelt off. Let's go." And so we ran up there. We were the first ones in there. We got to take a couple pictures. You guys may have seen, I posted these. Whoa. Man, I bet I could do this a lot better, because I can just do as a new tab, right? Let's just see this and then go. Oh, nope. That didn't work. Now, but I could share this to you. Let's just go back to StreamYard. Image file. There we go. Oh, because it's a live photo, so it's not going to work. Anyway, so you can see, y'all can see from here. So we got into the cockpit. We got to take some pictures and talk to the captain. But ultimately, there was a bunch of other people in line to do this when we got out, right? And so this 5 to 10 minute fuel stop turned into a much longer fuel stop, which some people say, because the story kind of goes on, obviously, some people kind of say that is what made us miss our window of opportunity, if you will. Because the next image I would like to show you, and this one, let's see. I wish I could, send it as send as format, most compatible. Let's try that. Because this one I do want to bring up for you. Because, all right. So, like I told you, we had to stop, and they said that we were going to be flying a little west of Chicago to kind of skirt the storm, and then we would come back in from the west side, right? And so, cool. Okay, that is a JPEG. That will work out much better. Okay, and so, all right. So we are supposed to be going to Chicago, and to fly a little bit of west to come down to Chicago. Well, ultimately, that's not what happened because we stayed the night in Cleveland, Ohio, after our flight was canceled at like 2 in the morning. This was an entire debacle. I almost lost I kind of lost my cool with the guy because like, I mean, all the kids were sleep, awake, because they kept like, oh, we got to board the plane. Nope, get off the plane. Nope, we can board the plane. Nope, get off the plane. Like, it was fucking wild. It was so obnoxious. All the parents, we were getting a little upset. But anyway, as it turns out, let's go. We can pull this up. Image file. So as it turns out, this was the flight pattern that we flew. Yo, Jay, what's up? GM. So this was the flight pattern that we flew on Tuesday. A bow tie over Kansas City. Landing, it looks like Toledo, but it really was Cleveland. We were at Cleveland Hopkins. So an hour and a half flight turned into a 21-hour delay. We got to my mom's house on Wednesday. Wednesday night was the kind of welcome to the world party for my new nephew. And so all the cousins were there. So my daughter got to hang out with all of her cousins. I love when we do that. And they're always like, leap weeks where, you learn so much from the older kids, and it's fantastic. And so we got back last night. Not really any trouble. The only thing lately is it's just been fucking windy everywhere. Takeoff and landings have been just palm sweaters. You're coming in, land, and you can see the ground. It's like, man, we're maybe like just a couple 100 feet, and the plane's doing like this kind of shit, and you're like, holy fuck, man, can we stabilize this motherfucker? My hands were sweating. My heart was pounding. Whew. But cheers. I don't like shitty and bumpy. Listen, like when we were sitting, and it was happening when we were in Cleveland on Wednesday afternoon, because ultimately, again, we had a 4:00 flight to Chicago. We should have been there by 5:30 in the afternoon. On Wednesday, we got a 3 p.m. flight from Cleveland over to Chicago. So we ended up doing it overnight, hanging out, having fun, making core memories, all that stuff. But anyway, let's move on. Let's just move on. Cheers. We're here. Friday the 13th. You are so right, Carrie. Good to see you as well. GM. All right, let's go back and let's do this. Boom. Fear and Greed index at 14. Casually getting a little bit of steam. We are, like I said, the markets are doing a little bit better today than they have been. So that's a good thing. Are you going long? Are you going short? We'll look at some of the charts later. We'll look at Bitcoin shortly here. But for now, let's take a look. Let's refresh. Market 2.66% up, 2.46 trillion. You got the Fear and Greed index here at 33. We know that usually a little bit different. I think it's CoinGlass. They take into a lot more factors and parts of the ecosystem than what CoinMarketCap does. And so, if you are a purely coins-driven person, I would say CMC is your guy. If you are looking at more fundamentals and technicals and understanding, like ETFs and all the shit that goes into crypto, that's what CoinGlass, their perspective is. And so for me, this is why we separate it. I prefer what CoinGlass does because it takes more into consideration than what CoinMarketCap does. But anyway, no shade. No shade, to each their own, my friends. To each their own. All right, here we go. Let's look at this. Bitcoin at 72.3. Up 2.86%. I think we're probably going to see a push to 75. I think we're going to see that push to 75, and it's going to happen when it does, it's going to happen extremely fast. It's not going to be a slow climber. It's going to be a ripper. You're going to see a candle. And hopefully we're all in longs when it does. We're going to have to take a look at the charts. We're going to have to set our alerts, set our alarms, because I would think, because we've been kind of pumping, we're going to see a little bit of a correction. I would assume, and I'm assuming because I saw it earlier, but I would assume that we're still there because it's still at 72, is that our VWAPs, everything is down below. And what does it do? It always, even if it just goes and gives it a smoochie and then goes right back up, I'm telling you, it's like programmed. So we'll go check that in a little bit here. I feel like I got Oh, it looked like I have like a receding hairline, but it might just be the lighting. So don't judge my receding hairline if that's the thing. Dang. Did we have 2 in a row? Yeah, we did. Yeah, you know what? It was funny because when I was putting the stuff together for the show this morning, I was like Friday the 13th. I was like, man, didn't we do that? I didn't look it up, but you okay, yes, sir. February had a Friday the 13th, and March has a Friday the 13th. All right, let's get back into this. Let's restart. 72.3 on Bitcoin. Up almost 3% today. You got ETH up over 3%, almost 3.5%, 21.30. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Everybody loves that ETH pump. Everybody loves ETH pumping. Oh, yeah. You got BNB 668, man. Don't lose $2. Don't lose $2 and be the 666. We don't want that. XRP 142. Solana. Excuse me, I didn't mean to cough into the microphone. I tried to side skirt it. Solana 90.37 up 4% today. Love to see that. Everybody loves Solana over $100. Keep climbing, baby. Cardano sitting in at number 10, still hanging on tight at 9.9 billion, whereas you got Hyperliquid at 9.5 billion. One pump could change that drastically. And clearly it's obviously making a little bit of headwinds on it anyway, because look at the market cap. You got, all right, so here's Cardano, here's Hyperliquid. You got a 9.9 billion, 9.5 billion. But this one's up 23% in the last week. So obviously this market cap has grown. So maybe that momentum will keep going and we'll kick Cardano out of the top 10. What do you say? Here's the Bitcoin chart. As I was telling you, look, our daily VWAP has been riding low because we were kind of chill through most of the day, and then we saw a little pumpage, and so we've got a little bit of a separation here. And so I'm not telling you to pressure trade down to the daily, but that's a percent. Multiply whatever leverage you are comfortable with, whatever you are comfortable with. I think I'm set at 50 right now, but remember, when it comes to the show, we have a little bit better risk mitigation. So if we happen to go live during the show and put in something, we will only put it at 10x, and that's because whatever. 20x, Michael Navarro. I could do that. Hey, if the community wants to see a little bit higher than 10, by all means, let's do it. If you want to see me do the 50 or 100 or 200, I don't have a problem with it. Probably not 200. Unless like it's too juicy. Like if we see like a flash crash down to the daily, I'm longing that motherfucker back up. You know what I mean? Because I think 75. I didn't mean to punch the table. That was probably a lot on the mic. I still think 75 is where this is headed. But we'll take a look at all of that stuff. Ooh, okay, yep, 1% down to the daily. Go get it, boy. Go get it, boy. Let's see. Here was a total chart as we reported from CoinMarketCap. We're sitting at a 2.43 trillion. I would hate to see this thing retrace, but if we're calling for the king to retrace, then the market cap on the whole thing is going to go down a little bit, down to 2.41 trillion. It's really not that big of a dip. All things considered, we have seen much more massive dips in history, and so I would call that nothing. Let's get it going, and then let's get those longs rolling. Like this is just like boom. It'd be like one of these kind of things, like you could catch this. Like if we were up here and then you caught, how long of a spread is this? We're around the 48-minute. Yeah. So, if you were to like catch that bottom, you would have like saved yourself 1.25%. And then if you were to catch down here, where would you be at? Look at that. Well, this is the total market cap. I thought we were still on Bitcoin. Total 3. This is our true indicator of, this is actually what I want, the others. This is our true indicator of an altcoin season. So if you look over here on CoinMarketCap, right, they said that they got a 41 for altcoin season. This right here, this others chart, this is how you visualize it, because this shows you, let's put this on the daily. Look at that. There we go. I wouldn't say that we are an altcoin season, but we can go Wix. Do we want to do that? Anyway, But you can see the trend is obviously heading up. Does this mean that altcoin season is here or around the corner? I wouldn't think so. I ultimately think that we need to go back down here to where like altcoins are. Like, let's pull one up just as the example. Solana. All right, maybe we're not going to see this. We can always remeasure it. It's not like we got to keep it going, but we'll keep that line on. But like Solana right here, and we got an alarm set, sold by. Remember that? And then if we were to zoom this sucker out, because I know these are like, we got generational lines drawn here based on historical levels, right? So if we see a major crash of the market, and this is like, there was one of the article, I chose not to use it for the show today because I thought, look, this isn't like FUD time. I don't want to be fudding, but like some analyst from I think Bloomberg, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just double check this. Some Bloomberg analyst, Bloomberg strategist doubles down on a 10,000 Bitcoin call, but peers say it would make a nuclear war to get there. 100% for Bitcoin, like there would have to be a fundamental breakdown in something with Bitcoin itself, which then ultimately would expose any vulnerabilities. And so I would think like zero would be the next target, or yes, just something absolutely black swanny catastrophe where, institutions need liquidity. What is this? Let's just go through. We got highlights. There we go. What to know? Bloomberg strategist Mike McGlone is reiterating his bearish call that Bitcoin could fall below 10,000, arguing the crypto market remains in a prolonged macro-driven unwind. That is still just too far. Unless several analysts dispute the likelihood of such a steep drop, saying a move to 10K would likely require an extra global liquidity crisis or other extraordinary shock. Black swan event. Insanity. Something crazy. Something absolutely nuts to get Bitcoin down to $10,000. It ain't going to happen. No way. Unless the world, and at that point, does anybody give a fuck about Bitcoin if we have had some kind of catastrophe? All right. We don't even want to talk about this. That's doom and gloom. Doomy and gloomy. But so like that kind of thing, like talking about Bitcoin dropping to 10K means there's a problem. That's that same kind of thing. Like if Solana drops back down to like the $20 level, something happened. Like something happened to the entire market. And so you can see right here on the chart, we have that sole generational buy. There's other opportunities that I would consider generational, right? Because like we know we're like ultimately when the market comes back, because look, we're just in a lull. We are in a deep lull. Obviously, we made a lower low. That's something that, I think most people say could be concerning, right? Like overall, multi-year trend down. There's many coins that are doing this. Let's look at freaking Ethereum. Why did I think Ethereum was on it? Well, this is... let's go. Ethereum against the US dollar. Man, I thought, okay, I'm absolutely wrong. We are on a multi-year uptrend massively, just like Bitcoin is. And I'm sure some new lines are drawn because I would assume like for many years, people were drawing it like this, and then, we like that. I would say that would have been the structure. Let's see, in other times we came back and we got right back to it. So could you imagine coming down here, like coming down sub? This would be, yeah. Let's go horizontal line right here. You got to remember, guys, that we're once wicks can become candlesticks. We've seen it. So those would be two zones that we would probably want to set alarms on, you know? And we go, wait, why can't I customize it? That's not, usually you could just customize these suckers. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to at least set the alarms on it. My goodness. Usually we should be able to like customize it. And if we want to like do the web, oh, here we go. Where's the, am I crazy? Oh, message. ETH buy, apply, create. Let's go to our alert on this one. And message. Whatever. Okay, you guys get the point. Set your alarms. This way you'll get triggers. If we dip down below or to these levels, you can see from this last time it did that. If you were to get a buy right here at 1404 and you were to ride that fucker to the top, that's 253%. If you got leverage on that, that's game over kind of shit. That's the generational run. I mean, it took you 126 days in a trade, so you're going to have some trade fees. You're going to have some night sweats. You're going to have some volatility and all that stuff. But if you hang tough, man, those are the trades. Not for me. I'm not there. I got too much PTSD from the market and the ups and downs and the fluctuations. I get profit, I pull it off the table, and I think that strategy works for me. You know, I've done a lot of different trading styles in my life. In my career here in crypto, and you know, just pulling profits, get ready for the next trade and execute. Like that's the move that works for me. And you know, you see some of the bigger guys, you know, on their channels and stuff, and you know, maybe that's something we get into where we run multiple accounts and we show you the big winners, the big runners, and then you know your day swing trading or whatever, scalp trading, you know, on different accounts on different exchanges, all that stuff, or you know, running different accounts, whatever. You know, that's the game. But you know, having one of those generational run trades, like that would be sick. I don't really have the, unless the only way that you do that is you happen to catch, you know, like the 25% run day where you are there's no threat of ever coming back to that price for the time being. Right. Those are the things that you can prepare for. Like that's, say you're right here. And this is, unfortunately, it's the weekly. Let's go to the daily. So it would be like one of these kind of days, right? Where you see a really long stretch blue candle where if you happen to get in a trade and it rips several percent, you know, 10%, 15%, whatever it may be, that gives you a opportunity to stay in the trade without having the fucking night sweats. I see Michael Navarro, my guy. I mean, there were so many times where I'd be in a trade, just you can't sleep. You wake up every like 45 minutes and you check the chart and be like, where are we at? Oh my God, I can't sleep. I got the leverage trade sweats. I tell you what, nothing like that. You are absolutely right. Nothing like those night sweats, baby. But we'll see. We'll see what the market's gonna do. I mean, I kind of feel like that was the if you look at these setups right here and where we are, I kind of feel like we may go like this and then we're back up, right? It's looking pretty juicy. I would say things are looking pretty bullish. It does not look like we're going to take another drop down, I think. But again, we analyze this every day. We look at the charts. We check the trends. We know the fucking headlines are bullish all around. We'll get to them shortly here. And so, you know, that being said, maybe we did find that bottom, you know, maybe the bottom is in. And, you know, we have our line drawn right here, and let's draw another one starting here. If this is our bottom to here, let's do a different line just so they're not the same. Let's make that baby green. And let's go into the hourly. Always be checking different time frames. My favorite. What are your favorite time frames? Drop in the chat if you guys are looking at charts. If you're traders, if you're looking at charts, what are your favorite time frames? I love the weekly just for the broad perspective of what the fuck is going on. The daily gives a good indicator too, but when we start to get in, obviously you look at the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15-minute, and the 5-minute for scalping, and then you can even go down even lower for true scalping and opportunities and stuff. But I'm more of like I want to paint the picture of what's happening. It usually tells a better story than just the line. I love people who trade the line. Y'all are crazy, absolutely. All right, so this is Ethereum. Where are we at today? Let's get a little better look. We are making a nice push away again from all of the indicators, the daily indicators, and so we could potentially look 2134 down to 2077. It's not a big drop. You see some decent sized candles. Remember, we're on smaller time frames. So down there is a 2.67% drop. You could see, where we're at right now. Technically, could be, and I could be talking out of my ass this whole time, right? We could be on our way down, and this could not make another higher high. And this, this next candle could be a long one down stretch. Collect some of these VWAPs, and then we just flip and flop for a little while. We'll see what happens. We're going to look at all this stuff for Ethereum as the day goes on. That's what I do. And especially, I know Friday, liquidity is a little different on Fridays. Thursdays and Fridays, it kind of dries up. And Tuesdays, Wednesdays are the great days to be trading. When, Mondays are fine. We'll still get some trades in. I still like to do some, whether it's a pressure trade like that down to the daily. We'll see how the day goes on. And if we miss it, we miss it. Sometimes the best position to be in is no position. You guys know that. Y'all know that. Speaking of, there's the BitUnex QR code. Make sure if you guys are not signed up for the squad, sign up for the squad. We got a lot of fucking people that just signed up over the last week or so. I was looking at, I got the dashboard pulled up. We got 62 people on the squad. So I need some people to start letting me know your UID number so we can build out the team. And then the Discord's going to be going live next week. I'm back in the saddle. I'm home. I'm working on that shit all weekend. So let's get it. We're gonna kick things off hard next week. And so get on the squad. There is a deposit bonus for the first timers. So get your deposit bonus. And then from there, we got the liquidity bonus. All of this ends April 7th. There is a trade volume bonus. And so the more you trade, the more you get in a bonus. So there'll be a QR, or there'll be a little thing that flips through there. It's like, if you trade a 5 million between now and April 7th, you'll get like an extra $400. Like, not only are you making money winning trades, but you're getting free money for trading. Start trading. Oh, GM. I'm gonna have maybe I've had too much coffee. This is only my second, but I will tell you, I put a lot of coffee in, so it was strong. It's like mud water today. Figure we had a busy day today, so why not caffeinate? I think we should hop into the news. Appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you smash the like button. Let's go. The SEC and the CFTC strike historic pact to align U.S. financial and crypto market rules. These U.S. regulators move to tighten coordination as the SEC and CFTC launch a joint framework aimed at reducing regulatory conflicts, modernizing oversight, and shaping clear rules for emerging financial markets, including crypto assets. The U.S. government is preparing for regulated crypto markets, not banning them. This is great. Regulatory turf wars end as the SEC and CFTC coordinate oversight across U.S. markets. That's crazy. This is good news. Let's see. What did Paul Atkins say? For decades, regulatory turf wars, duplicative agency registrations, and different sets of regulations between the SEC and the CFTC have stifled innovation and pushed market participants to other jurisdictions. We know that. This is the whole push that Trump was bringing crypto back to the U.S. All of us have been screaming, about the enforcement, regulation by enforcement for years. When we had, oh man, what's his name? Gensler. All I could think of was I could picture Monty Burns in my head, but I could not pull out Gary Gensler. that was their mission. But I think, he was probably pressured into that role and how he had to, provide, the enforcement, because I know that, he was, what is that? What the hell is going on here? Later, get off there. A puppet, maybe Gensler was a puppet for a larger narrative at that particular moment, and now we have a lot more acceptance. This framework is coming through, whether you like it or not. So just get on board with it, kind of a thing. And through this agreement, the agencies also established a joint harmonization initiative to coordinate policy making, examinations, and enforcement in areas of shared jurisdiction, providing a fit for purpose regulatory framework for crypto assets and other emerging tech. Here's a quote from Michael Selig, the CFTC chairman. America's financial markets are the envy of the world because they scale and adapt to meet investor demands. Like our markets, the CFTC's and SEC's regulatory frameworks must also evolve and modernize to accommodate the needs of our market participants. 100%. Everybody knows that the U.S. stock market is one of the most watched in the world. Our financial ecosystem is the one that most people strive to be a part of. You know that. We know that there is issue with the dollar at this particular moment, but when we have agencies who typically butt heads come together, it's massive. It's massive for crypto. And again, like something I said a second ago, where it's regulatory framework and regulatory framework with structure and rules from the government, their participation in institutions, and building frames and rails and ground rules for retail. Again, what started out as a freedom fight, what started out as a mission, what started out as a revolution, ultimately retail lost. But I think at the end of the day, to the success of the vision of Satoshi, whether this was implemented, right, or if this was something that became so attractive, became so large and attractive that, again, that once was a movement is now part of the financial ecosystem. If you've been in crypto for years, you've watched that happen. I can unequivocally tell you that it was so visible and evident at the Bitcoin conference itself, where in 2019 things interesting, they started to turn, with a lot more suits, a lot more, corporate heavy. And so, once we got through the pandemic push and we got back, to business in 2021, it was full scale. We were damn near close to, institutional at that point. It definitely, and that's what I would say, a couple of years ago, we started saying, like, look, when Bitcoin started, when Satoshi started Bitcoin, like, it was peer-to-peer. Like, that was the whole thing. This was a movement. And now, we watched the evolution from there into, what I would consider an absolute, part of the financial ecosystem. We know that now because, it skipped the industry pretty quick. Bitcoin, and I think that was, again, right around the 2019 time is when, again, you started to see a little bit more corporate push there. Like, that's when it became part of the industry. It became an industry around that 2019. And now, we're in 2026, and look, damn, we're part of the global financial ecosystem, which is wild. And again, whether you like it or not, having some rules, having some groundwork, having some regulations, it's there. That's what's happening. So, 2026 is the year of #Plume. 100%. RWAs are going to absolutely explode, guys. We've got another article about the SEC. Their advisory group backs tokenized securities push, outlines how to keep it safe. The committee that steers the U.S. securities regulator on investor issues voted to support a new effort to regulate stock transactions on blockchains. Like, do you understand? Do you see what's happening? Like, I know we'll look at the ETF stuff in a little bit here, but tokenization, it's the modernization of capital markets, right? And so we're seeing this happen, the want and the will and the way is all there, and that's what's going on. Oh, my bad. I didn't even show you the article. So let's go on here. We love these. What to know. The U.S. SEC is pushed by its Investor Advisory Committee to move forward on tokenized securities regulations. The committee voted for recommendations that outline how such rules should proceed, citing needs for mandatory reporting and fairness in customer orders. And the SEC, Paul Atkins, chairman. Was there a crackle there? That was a weird noise. That was interesting. Did you guys hear that? I heard definitely a crackle coming out of the headphones. So hopefully we're all good. SEC Chairman Paul Atkins said the process is already underway to issue some direction to the industry to allow regulated tokenization. We're going to look at the RWA charts here in just a second. But you got the SEC exploring safe frameworks for tokenized equities. Okay, Jay heard it. Yep. You guys know that they're opening the doors for stock trading on blockchain, right? This is happening. NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, all of them are going global, tokenized by digital by 2027. It's happening. I know that there was, and I believe it was the NASDAQ was supposed to be 24.5 by February of this year. Clearly, I think market participation, allowing for better groundwork and framework, all that stuff, was a better idea versus rushing into it. We do have some stocks that are available. I think probably once it is a little bit more regulated and controlled by larger entities, it will be broadly accepted by some others. Not really sure. I don't have too many people in my particular life that have transitioned from traditional stock market to the digital stock market. I've been able to buy digital stocks on some of my apps, but I know people like my mom who has traditional financial stocks she'll keep it that way. I don't believe that she would ship them over unless the institution themselves switched it over. That would force. Who knows how that's going to work, right? That's something that we're going to see as time goes on. Exactly how that works. If you have a Fidelity account, does your Amazon shares, do they automatically now become on blockchain rails? And are you forced to learn blockchain? How is all that going to work? Oh, Chad Miller, family, $4.99 super sticker. That's wild. Appreciate you, fam. Look at that. I got it. Let's go. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah. All right. So we wanted to, we got one more RWA article. That's what it was. It was the two SECs, but two RWAs. And then we're going to pull up the RWA.xyz and look at some of the stuff like tokenized equities. We'll look at, the RWA market cap, all that kind of stuff. I love RWA.xyz. It is a great resource for looking at some of these charts, especially with where my brain's moving and where things are moving, especially with the RWAs. Massive narrative. I know AI, RWAs. I know a lot of people are into gaming. That's not my thing. You know that. I changed the course of my content a couple years ago to get away from that because it just ultimately wasn't my passion. This is more of a passion. I can see businesses that I own running RWA infrastructure. With tokenized, making sure that, it's fractionalized, all that kind of stuff. I've got these ideas and concepts tied to NFTs, all that stuff. And that is more applicable to me than a fucking game, and to each their own. And I mean all respect when I say that. It's just how I talk. London's RWA Summit, where tokenization meets reality. All right, let's get into this. Key takeaways. RWA tokenization is entering an implementation phase in global finance. See what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not the only one saying that we're now in global finance. Tokenized money market funds and treasuries are emerging as the first scalable use cases. Regulation, compliance, trusted intermediaries remain essential for institutional adoption, and infrastructure integration with traditional finance will determine how fast tokenization scales. We are moving past theory, and that we are now part of infrastructure. And boom, that feels good. We did it. We're doing it. We didn't do it. We're doing it. tokenized bonds, tokenized real estate, commodities. These are the things where we can start to think about the market caps. They will start to explode. GM, Luca, hope you were well, my brother. Hope you had a great weekend. Appreciate you being here. Let's go more into this article, like where it's headed so far, and just our key takeaways. Clear belief among delegates that RWAs can be a gateway for large-scale institutional adoption of on-chain assets. See, do we have any fun quotes to go through? Here we go. As a moderator of the digital gold and trade, unlocking... Oh, wait. Nope. It was just a panelist. No. Man, no quotes. Tokenization does not automatically create liquidity. Oh, that's interesting. Efficiency gains will take time, and liquidity creation for illiquid assets doesn't happen automatically through tokenization. No, I mean, you have to put the, I believe that you have to put the liquidity in there. If you were to have like, my work on uranium tokenization, this rings true. We've reduced entry barriers from 9 million to a few dollars per ounce, but creating genuine liquidity requires education, regulatory clarity, and time. Okay, I can see that. The regulatory discussions were pragmatic. Trusted ETH barriers won't disappear. Institutions need some to blame when things go wrong. Yeah, of course they do. The infrastructure shift driving tokenization. Christopher Kletzer noted the DTCC and NASDAQ are actively tokenizing collateral and planning on-chain settlement with stablecoins. The question shifts from if to when. Very soon. Soon. Moon soon. We get to bring back those memes pretty soon. That's going to be great. Moon soon. The prediction, 2026 will be the year of digital money with the Financial Conduct Authority and Genius Act clarity enabling broader adoption. Okay. Ben Elvidge. Well, here we go. This is the moment we've been waiting for. The RWA charts. Hey. 26.78 billion. Every time we look at the chart, it is obviously going up. It is a ecosystem that is in rapid growth. And we haven't even seen, you see this chart, it's a slow mover. There's been no, maybe this is, I wish I could point to it. This right here. This is maybe the only vertical that we've seen. But at some point when this thing makes a rip, y'all, remember, global market cap for RWAs has been multi-trillion by 2030. At some point, the vertical growth, and we talk about trading. Think about it from a spot level. You think about some of these projects. You think about, let's see, let's go by. So you think about here, the total value of these platforms and what they provide and how they'll be scalable. And some of them are probably sitting at a very small total value, right now. But that doesn't mean little movement on Sol right now. Let's take a look. We can pop right back to this in a second here. We like to stay current. Let's look at Sol. Sol's ripping, baby. New high. This might be a good time to get into a long here, actually, if we're creating a new high. This is a multi-day thing. You never buy into pumps, but wait for a retrace. This is the 1 hour. Let's look at the 15. There was the retrace to get into right here. Remember, look what happened. We were off the daily, bada boom. Then we played with it here. We would dip down, and then Kapowski. We did miss it though. If we had been, set some alerts, and we were playing this, at some point, especially with this back here, that would have been, look, this came down here, damn near touched that. This would have been the entry and been all right, where do we have support? Where's our support? That would have been it. That would have been a nice move. Hopefully you guys got into it. That is 3.5%, and that is some nice leverage. I am only trading Bitcoin at the moment and only on BitUnex. Make sure you guys join the squad. it is not there, but it will come up there at some point. I got the, I need to update that graphic too for, so I'm personally slow boating $1,000 to $10,000 thing for myself. 1450 is where I'm at. I'm going to shift for, I think after this particular BitUnex campaign that we're doing right now, which is the sign up bonus plus the trade volume bonus. Once we get there, I would like to change structure of the campaign into $100 to $1,000 competitions, and we'll do all sorts of prizes and targets and all sorts of things for anybody who's actively trading with us, part of the squad, part of Team Chains, part of Team One. It's actually the 1% Better Club. That's the Discord. So here we go. For anybody who is watching today, you get a special chance. Let's do the invite to server. Copy. If you are watching today, I guess you got to be watching on YouTube. If you're watching today on YouTube, which let's see, we got some folks there. I just popped the Discord into the chat. So hop on into the Discord today. So here's the deal with the Discord. We're gonna have just a free section for general chat. But all of the trade setups and calls and communications with the team and the group that we've got going, that will be behind a paywall. And then we've got, different levels of that. We'll have whales, we'll have supporters, and then I believe members. And then the members are just the people there for the general chat. You can still be there, hang out. That's where I'll be. Maybe we'll do one show there a week. But the majority of the stuff that we're gonna do, the high level stuff and trading, especially when we get into the competitions of trying to increase the value of our portfolios, that will definitely be in the behind the paywall section, and that's life, man. That's how we're gonna do it. There's the QR code. So join the trade squad now. Get those funds in there, and Monday. Chad Miller, BitUnex is pretty awesome. My guy, appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. I like it. I was a Femex guy for a while, but ultimately, it was actually back when like AJ got his deal with BitUnex, is when I was just like, oh, let me check that out. I did actually, it's over there somewhere. But I did have a great conversation with the BitUnex people in Singapore at Token, and was it Token in Singapore? I go to so many of these things I can't remember. Knowing that it's no KYC for you guys. I know that's a big concern. You can if you want. Obviously, that always increases your your volume and ability to withdraw and all that stuff if you need it. But there's no KYC. They got so much. They got a ton of liquidity on a ton of coins, and it works. And I love it. And the people are great, and let's go. And I only trade. I'm not buying anything. I don't trust anything in any market with Trump in office. I've actually heard a couple people say that they are going on like the day of the election, like they're switching long, whatever. I'm in a couple trade groups, and there is a lot of manipulation going on right now. So definitely want to take all of that into consideration. Hey, there we go. Someone just popped in. I'm gonna say what's up in the Discord. Hey, there we go. All right. Great time to get in not only to the trade team there on BitUnex, but hop in the Discord. We're gonna get that thing active. That's gonna be. I will be there every day. Moving forward, Discord and the stream. That's the home. That's what we do. And so I will see you guys. We'll see you there. Okay. Go back to, we did RWA stuff, but the whole idea of looking at these platform, that's not what we want. Market overview. Well, they look a little different. Where did like stable ETH, Ethereum was like the top for a second here. Oh, total value. That's why. All right. So you could. Well, that's weird. That doesn't even seem right. $214 million of RWAs on Ethereum. I feel like it's a lot more than that. That was interesting. Let's go to not stable coins, U.S. Treasuries, right? U.S. Treasury sitting at, this is what we were looking at before. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's why. I was on the wrong tab. If you look at the U.S. Treasuries, this stuff's like all moving around. Did you see that? There's only two networks? There was a whole list of them 2 seconds ago. What's going on, man? There's like things disappearing from, that's interesting. Distributed platforms. That was weird. Did you guys, like, things were like actively moving around while we're looking at it? I've not seen that before. That's never happened. See, now it's Ethereum. Managers. All right. Whoa. We're going to back off. We're just going to go to our next article. New BlackRock staked ETH fund to pay 82% of rewards to investors. That's a pretty big thing. Let's get through this and check this one out. BlackRock launching its iShares staked ETH trust on NASDAQ Thursday morning. So this was yesterday, correct? Yeah. So this launched yesterday. Here we go. Let's pull up ETFs on CoinGlass. It'll open up to Bitcoin, but let's go here. Do we have a list? Yeah. Is it going to be iShares staked ETH trust? Well, it's not in here yet, is it? That's all. These are all Bitcoin, Ethereum, ETH Grayscale. This is the ETH A. Here it is, right? iShares staked Ethereum trust. iShares, but that's not staked. Okay, no, that's a different one. We don't have it on the list yet. We'll need to see this thing get added. Hopefully soon. All crypto ETFs. Yeah, these numbers have been kind of crazy with all these zeros lately, but 7-day look. We'll see what happens today. Today's the 12th, or today's the 13th. Yesterday was the 12th, so it was Sunday, so we will not. What's going on here? Today's the 13th. We shouldn't have anything for yesterday, and then we'll have today. Oh, it's because it's still early. I forgot. It's only 9 o'clock. We'll see these things all start to change. 9:30 is when the market opens. They probably have all this stuff on time stuff, because we'll see. Look, going to like nothing showing today yet for the Bitcoin ETFs, but IBIT had 4 straight days of inflows last week, so that's big time. We'll see what happens. I mean, obviously on the 12th things were a little bit slower. That was a Saturday, or a Sunday, excuse me. Or Jesus, why do I think today's Monday? It's because I took 2 days off. That's where my brain was. I was thinking for my second. I was like, wait, today's Monday. Today's not Monday. Today's Friday. I need a V8. I thought I had too much coffee. I need some more coffee. Man, I just lost my mind for a second. I was definitely thinking today was Monday. It's Friday, baby. We're about to have the weekend. I'm gonna work all weekend because I didn't have 2 shows in a row. So we'll be active all weekend. We'll be doing some stuff. Do I believe Tom Lee saying that we are still in a bull market? No. Oh, okay. That's a very subjective question, I believe, and how far you're willing to look out, right? And which chart do you want to look at? I would say let's look at do we want to look at the E chart, because that's what he obviously only cares about Ethereum. Now, remember what we did earlier in the show. This happens to be, look, we'll be purists. We'll just look up Ethereum. We're not going to. We don't need the 15-minute. Let's make our lines on the weekly like we were talking before. And so look, if you were to look at this, do like that line being there because that's probably what'll happen, right? Because that's how sharp these movements are on the weekly. This line will definitely look different on different time frames, but let's just go, from our uptrend here, which started in 2020, March of 2020. We had a little dip down. We could, I think, change that to be more like that. That then touches these bottoms. You see these wicks kind of go through there. I would be willing to do that. Or we could just, like I said, keep the old trend line up with the dot, and we've got a new local one that we've started. Because obviously 2 dips, 2 pierces through, I would say negates that whole thing, especially because we're sitting now where we're at. But we could bounce and then come right back in towards, the old frame, the old structure. But we have broken a multi-year uptrend structure. This was the second time since the beginning of 2025, right? Look, March of 2020. March. It always seems to be March. Why March? What's about March? That's really interesting. And so, we saw, well, let's take a look at this. So April 7th is when we wicked and started heading up. That means April 7th is going to be that's going to be around here. That's right around where that vertical candle is. That's crazy. Right before this starts. I'm keeping this green just in case that's what happens. And then I can say I told you so. So you could prepare. Plan accordingly. We may go down a little bit. Like, don't get me wrong. We may come down and touch. Again, I didn't have this up any of this time. Spring brings life. Oh, Jay throwing in his pizza order. I love that. That's the move right there. I forgot that I didn't even pull this chart up. So I would just been talking to myself for a minute. You guys got to remind me sometimes because I'm moving too fast. And if I start talking about a chart and I don't have it up, just say, hey, yo, dummy, pull the chart up. So with what we were saying is right now, see, we're the blue line. The current price is that blue here. We can step off the weekly. Let's go to the 30-minute. And I still need a shortcut to zoom in on the chart, right where we want it. Fun to take a look at the ETH chart. We haven't done this in a while. So here would be our bottom. At least we're building some good liquidity. So here's our point of control right here. And so I would think if we were to take any kind of dip, we probably shouldn't. We'll probably slow down here. We'd wick here and then start moving back up if we saw a dip. But things are just looking pretty strong right now. We'll cut some stuff off. We don't care. I don't give a rip. It's a trend up, and I know a lot of people are calling for that move, and I would think let's go back to Bitcoin here. The run to 75 is happening. Look, we should probably. No, that might be the top now. We may be making a directional change, at least in the short term. Again, I firmly believe that at some point we will come back for the daily. Again, we made a little bit of a space here. You can't really back test it too much anymore. Sometimes you can see there was this one kind of came off a little bit right here off the daily, and look, it came back and touched right there. This is we oftentimes you will also see a retouch of the previous daily if that were to be the case. Now remember, this does continue to go up, so we could see our VWAPs, our previous daily, come back up, and the previous daily could eventually come back up to this level where we're at for the daily, and we'll see the daily start to make a move up and it come back down to give a little smoochy to the wherever the previous daily is. We see it constantly. Again, it's not guaranteed, and that's not the trade that you should take. You shouldn't pressure trade the VWAP like that. unless you're, watching a lot other indicators, right? Like, what is the stock doing? What is the RSI doing? Where are all these doing? Those are decisions that you have to make when, in the time, especially if you're getting into a scalp. That is all super conditional stuff that you got to wait for the right conditions. And again, we said it earlier, sometimes no position is the best position that you can be in. There's some of the information, there it is right there, for the trade bonus and for your volume, and then for deposits for all your new timers, all the newies, all the newbies. Come join the squad, get trading, let's make some money. Again, we're going to be starting a $100 to $1,000 trade competition starting to Monday. Today is Friday. Today is not Monday. That was and that's funny. Like in my brain, I was thinking, like, man, we were talking earlier about something starting Monday, and then when I had the little gap there, thinking that today was Monday because I had 2 days off. Bada boom. Now we are back. So Monday, the Discord launches. We're gonna probably start a small competition, an internal one. We'll do a big campaign, more of a campaign one after this campaign's over. But we'll just start something small in the Discord. So it'll just be a group of us, we'll see, who the fastest that can turn 100 into 1,000 is. We'll do P&Ls and screenshots and all that stuff to keep ourselves honest, because that's what we do. And look, it is a directional change as of right now. Things can change, but it looks like, this is, we may go down for a second. You may see a little bit of a correction. So wait for the dip, wait for the dip, and then catch a rip. Again, I think 75 is on the table. Let's see, Luke. Okay, so let's do some pizzas really quick. He's got a fried pencil. You know what? Let's do this. I feel like, can I star them? Yes. All right, here we go. I'm going to star all your pizza orders, and then at the end of the show, I will go through and read all the pizza orders. Just do me a favor. Do me a favor and drop your pizza order into the chat. If you want a pizza at the end of the show, drop it in the chat. It's really easy to do. You can do it on any platform you're watching, YouTube, X, or LinkedIn. Appreciate you being here. My name is Jay Chains. Back at the chart. Again, we're looking at potentially a little bit of a reversal, but as you can see from earlier, the reversal, what happened to my pen? Like this right here. And then we just went right back up. So say we took that same, let's do from the bottom and then up. Well, that was terrible. But, say that's our bottom for this one, and we do that. There you go. That is a squiggly line. But, so what I would be thinking about, like for my entry, if I were to put in an entry, I would say 72.5. Let's go touch this, the top of this wick. We probably, again, that was a resistance point at 1. Now it would be a support level. And so, this isn't, again, that's a shitty line, but that's just to give you an idea of, I could have done it just like this too. Where is this? And then from there, we set an alert. And let's go possible long. And so what we're going to be doing is what I need to do is copy like the JSON code or whatever it is for some of these alerts so that they make it into the Discord, because I got to set up a web hook for it. But that's going to be the thing is, on the show, like when we do this, like I set that alert, like I will queue it up so that if this triggers, it goes into the Discord. And so if you're in there and if you got that access to that channel, like you'll understand, like, oh shit, go look at the charts. Like, oh, we've seen a nice dip from where we're going. We're expecting, all of our remember, you're looking at the charts too. You're not just taking someone's word for it. But you say, oh, look, all these other indicators are pointing up. Let's get into a long, or nope, we're going to dump some more, get into a short. This is just, again, this was a former resistance, could be possible support, and that's why we're just setting an alarm to make sure that when an alarm goes off, we check back to the chart. We want to complement our work, not duplicate. You don't want to always be reinventing the wheel. You set yourself these alerts so that you can move on with your day, with another coin, on another time frame, whatever it is. You got to be setting alerts for your work so you don't forget, so you don't get distracted and then move on and then miss a trade, so that you don't have to then go back and redo it and fuck something up or whatever. I mean, sometimes it's better to look from a different perspective. I get that. And you can look at a different time frame for that. But, on the 30-minute from here, I would say if we end up touching the 72.5, whatever this level is, we'll consider going long or short depending on, a shorter time frame. So we'll zoom into, say, maybe the 3-minute from there. And if we were to look, say like our alarm went off right now, and this is what we were looking at. Obviously, it's not going to; it would be down. But this is what we're looking at. We're like, momentum's going up. You're like, oh fuck, let's take a long. But if we, what's the hotkey for flipping your chart? Man, Mike will tell us. But okay, so look, like for me, like if you were to hop into a chart, you get an alert and you hop into a chart and you're like, all right, this does look a little alt one. Nope. So it's not on. I have alt. No, it is not command one either on a Mac. Shift one. Nope. Control one. Option one. Nope. And command one. Nope. Didn't work for me. I don't have an alt. I got the old Mac keyboard. Sorry, guys. Let's see. We'll pull the hotkey for it. Hotkey, flip, chart, trading, view, Mac. Option I. Okay. Boom, there it is. So that to me would be bearish, right? And so say you pop into the chart and this is what you see, be like, well, fuck. Obviously this candle could be reversal because you got a long wick at the bottom, you got a long tail, so you could see it going up. But I would say the trend is your friend until it's not. I would go short on this chart. I would go long on this chart. So again, we set alerts and alarms on all of our trades so that we can click into and immediately get a view of what's happening and where were we. And that makes the most sense for me. I hope it makes sense for you versus, again, reinventing the wheel every time. So, oh, my Windows users, y'all just expose yourself. Windows, it's okay though. I'm just messing with you. All right, let's go to, oh man, we're kind of behind today. And that's all right. Let's see, we did the, oh, this is the staked ETH. Oh, that was the, okay, so the BlackRock article about staked ETH, paying 82% of rewards to investors. We went through that a little bit, but you guys get it. If you are an investor of their new staked ETH fund, you will get some rewards. And here is staked ETH. As you can see over time, this is the all-time chart right here. Staked ETH is going way up, way up. We have, let's see, we hit 10 million in 2022, right around here in March. Today, the theme of the day is shit happens in March. That's wild. Everything is like pointing to March, all these crazy timelines. So we hit 10 million staked ETH in March of 2022. And then, let's see, are there any other Marches? Just kidding. Other than now, so we're over 30 million. We're at 37 million in staked ETH. 37 million. The last figure we can get, 37,661,950, almost 40 million. And things are obviously going to continue to go up, especially as institutions get this, especially as if BlackRock's going to have a staked ETH fund. So January, February, March, Q1. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. I wasn't, you know what? That thought hadn't even occurred to me. And that's why I love having a community. You guys are amazing. Mike, that was great. Great insight. March would definitely be a key indicator on all things because that's the end of the quarter. You got March being the end of quarter one, April, May, and June being quarter two, or that being the end of H1. We've kind of shifted our focus into halves of the years, but don't forget quarters. And so great call. Let's go. Thank you, sir. All right. Kalshi says institutional adoption already here. We've been telling you that. Y'all should already know institution adoption is here. So this is manipulation at its finest. Guys, just hang on. Don't sell your coins. If you're not ready to to get into the trading game because you think we're still going to bottom, I could understand that, but you could still make money in a short. We're just looking at the market conditions. We're gonna be running shorts and longs depending on how the market does. Do I actually think that we bottomed? I don't believe so. I think that we do have another push down. We haven't seen like okay. And this is whoa. Here we go. Bitcoin's ripping right now. 73. I told you guys 75 was our target today. We're not in a trade because I'm hanging out with you. What time is it? It's almost 9:30. So we'll have to remember 9:30. You set your 15-minute, and you go on you look at the candles, and we set our. Oh, we're going to see a big day today. We are going to see a big day today. This could be a lot of liquidity. What I was just trying to tell you was let's go onto the daily because one thing we have not seen in quite some time. Look at it today. Look at that. Big day. The previous week high sitting at 74, so could be a push up to that. You never know. But look, we have not seen a 10K day, a true manipulation day in quite some time. Let's see, we had 122 down to 104. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. Hey, what's up, honey? Look, I'm gonna show you all this. Come here. This is my little homie, Baby Chains. Can you say hi? Hey, what's up, everybody? We both got our W3BC, our Web3 breakfast shirts on. We got Baby Chains in the building. You want to tell them to smash the like?
Smash the like button.
That's right. Smash the like button for my little homie, Baby Chains. We got home, and we put on our jammies. We both put on our W3BC crew shirts. So shout out to the community. Shout out to the chat. Good morning, honey bunny. How are you? Are you going to sit here and hang out, or are you going to eat breakfast?
Later, I want to eat breakfast.
Later, you're going to eat breakfast? What are you going to have? Toast? Good. All right. And some fruit? All right, sit with me. Okay, so again, what I was telling you about a second ago was look at this candle right here. And you can see the high was 122,469 on this was on Friday, October 10th. We all remember this was D-Day. This was a big day. The low was $104,288. Okay, that is almost $20,000 difference. That's what I'm talking about. We need a day like that in any direction. It could go up to clean out the shorts and then go down to clean out the longs, but it's got to do some crazy volatile, just manipulation, scam wicks, I like to call them. That's what we need to see before we're like really going to see a directional change. This one of these kind of things. We peaked. That's when we peaked. So I would fully expect that before we rip, we're going to see a liquidation event, a massive one. I don't think that we've bottomed. You think that Bitcoin has bottomed? You do? All right. You heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen. My daughter thinks Bitcoin has bottomed. You think this red line, you don't think we're going to go past this red line ever again? Or at least this cycle? Okay. All right. She's doing TA now. My daughter's a Bitcoin chart reader. All right. I love you. Go have some wonderful breakfast. Good morning. Can I get a hug? Give me 5, 2. I love you. You want to stay here? You just want to stay here? All right, get over here. Oh, we are also both wearing our gray sweatpants. We are twinning. We just got back from a trip together, and we are besties, right? Gray sweatpants. Yep. All right, let's get back into the news. White House accuses banks of hijacking crypto market structure push. And look, we've been talking about this as well, that look, the banks, they need to hold on any which way they can. They're not going to go silently. They are going to be doing what they can to maintain the level of manipulation and control over finances as they can, because as we know, they are crooked, corrupt organizations. That's why we're all in crypto. That's why we all have more of our net worth in crypto than in a bank ever. Not telling you guys any secrets. I'm not telling your secrets away. The White House keeps hounding banks over their opposition to stablecoin rewards, but bankers say the public supports their view, while Binance is taking a dim legal view of the Wall Street Journal's report. Clarity Act gloves coming off. Let's go. Ding, ding, ding. Are they going to fight? Who's going to win? The regulators? Say no way. The banks? No way. Crypto? Crypto's going to win. Yes. All right. Banking survey finds stablecoins unpopular, rewards slightly less unpopular. That doesn't even make sense. It's a banking survey. Like, who cares about what the bankers say about stablecoins? Again, their only way to maintain control would be to issue their own stablecoin or adopt. You know what I mean? Like, it's adapt. It's react and adapt or be obsolete. You're already seeing their pushback. Like, they want to sue other entities that are going to allow crypto native companies to come in and get banking licenses. They're like, no, that's going to hurt the consumer. No, it's not going to hurt the consumer. It's going to hurt the banks. And that's ultimately a good thing, because they're scamming and scheming and they're stealing your money, right? The banks are no good. Let's see. On Tuesday, White House crypto advisor Patrick Witt tweeted the administration's view that Clarity must remain a pro-innovation piece of legislation. Attempts to hijack the legislative process and turn it into an anti-competition bill are shameful. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Saying hi? Let's see. Coinbase chief legal officer Paul Grewal, he retweeted Witt's March 10th post, adding that banks were trying to take rewards out of retail consumers' pockets and put it into the pockets of the biggest banks on the planet, all to prevent a deposit flight risk that lacks any evidence whatsoever. Is that what people elected their senators to do? No, and that's the thing. Like, you could see the writing on the wall about all this stuff. And I think we were talking about this last week when stable coins, when you could get 12% staking your stable coins, like, that's when the banks were like, no, thank you. That's not allowed because we can't compete with that. People are going to take their money. We're going to lose market share. We are going to lose. The bank run is going to finally happen if you allow them to have that much in rewards for staking. That ultimately takes money away from the banks, which, again, if you deposit $1,000, they're probably going to loan it out $10,000 on the $1,000 that you've brought in, because they expect to get that in from the other people that they've loaned it to. Banks are a scam, man. The fractionalized banking, You just got a bank account though. We'll get you some Bitcoin. How about that? Give me 5. All right. Let's see. Let's skip on through here. Senate overwhelmingly passes CBDC ban attached to bipartisan housing bill. We saw this coming last week. They were talking about it. Let's go. Here we go. Yes. Make sure you get your pizza orders in. Make sure you get your pizza orders in. We found support around 65 this time. That's half bullish. I agree with you. Everybody's saying good morning to you. Good morning, Emmy. This new bill, including a CBDC ban, still faces a winding road to becoming law due to obstacles in the House and at the White House. We got the stablecoin chart pulled up here. We were looking at this earlier. Let's see, what would we have this actually pulled up for at this particular moment? The battle is now who controls the rails. That's for the banking one. Let's see, Senate. Oh, instead of CBDCs, U.S. may rely on private stablecoins. We'll see. Like, if you were to... Huh? What did you say? He's reading the chart. She's reading the stablecoin chart. But if you were to look at, again, you've got to compare some of the activity in the market to what you see at the conferences. And I would say over the last couple of years, the focus on stablecoins has become so large, that you can see... And again, even from my perspective of what meme coins are to what they could be and how we make the
the relation to, say, Bob the plumber and his coin. Instead of launching a meme coin, he launches a stable coin. You want that ultimately. You don't need it to be pegged, or not. You don't. You would. I think that you would prefer it to be 1-to-1 with a dollar, so you don't have to worry about any of the volatility going down. Of like, oh, so I've got the coins for my ecosystem, and instead of them gaining all this traction and wealth and all this stuff. I mean, you're just trying to transact in your ecosystem, and you're using blockchain and crypto and stablecoin to do that. And so if a customer, like hopefully there's software or apps or everything to where, okay, I need a toilet replaced in my house, or I need my bathroom remodeled, whatever it is, and I want to pay Paul the plumber, Apple Pay, Zoop. His account takes that fiat, Zoop into Bob the plumber coin, and then again, that's 1-to-1. So if it costs me $5,000, he gets $5,000 worth of the Bob the plumber coin, deposited into his account. So the bill has been paid. The market cap is starting to move on his ecosystem. And so you could tell probably, and I'm sure there'll be, you need to put in some safeguards into here, because that's ultimately another verification way of, if you're hiring a contractor, if you're hiring someone, what's the market cap of their business? You flexing? What's the market cap of their business? Because that ultimately could tell you, like, if you've got this local plumber that has a huge market cap, like he's crushing, he's doing well, he's doing the right thing. Again, you have to have safeguards against like wash trading and all that stuff, just to like, or like, bullshit deposits, just to, keep things rolling and make it appear, like there'd have to be, some of those protocols put in place. But, that ultimately becomes the verification system of how consumers trust other entities to handle their business, if that makes sense to you guys. Hopefully it does. That's kind of how I see the capabilities of where stablecoins can go, and how we can eliminate the need of, again, we talk about the 30-some million coins that are in on coin market cap, right? Like what is that actual number? If we were to look, to zoom out, 37.72 million, right? And that number ultimately eventually could go up because of what I'm talking about. But the idea of having them have more foundational structure to them, I think would make sense. Numbers? Yep, that's my keyboard. Give me that. All right, let's zip through some more of these. This was a the article that we've got here about. Where's the article on it? Where they come together one. Senate overwhelmingly passed the CBDC ban attached to the bipartisan housing bill. We just went through that. The stablecoin. I had an article that I know that we were looking at a few minutes ago on this. Chad Miller, what are you doing? I appreciate you, fam. Throwing some super stickers around. I appreciate you. That's big time. Today, this was from the US SEC. This is from their Twitter account. This was March 11th. Today is the 13th. So this was from a couple of days ago. This was on Wednesday. They had said, this is the memorandum of understanding, or an MOU. A lot of times you hear that as an MOU, just so you know that's a memorandum of understanding between the SEC and the CFTC. This was when we were, man, that was this article. That's where it is. So it got out of line, where they strike a historic pact to align U.S. financial and crypto market rules. All right. Let's see. Former Petronas head of oil trading is putting the $5 trillion crude market on blockchain. That's massive, guys. If we look at the price of oil, obviously with what's going on, the conflict over there in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz being closed, we saw a massive spike and then a dip like none other of oil starting to rebuild back at 94.04 according to this chart. This is light crude oil futures, and so there's plenty of other charts that you can check. I guess this is the one that I've got up, and so yeah. And so when we look at this, like $6 trillion the crude market coming on blockchain, like that's massive. Like ultimately, if you look at the global markets, they're in the quadrillions, right? And if you look at global derivatives and all that stuff, we'll see some of these things coming to now. There's not enough money in the world to actually, like, if somebody margin called all of that, there wouldn't be enough money in the world, I don't believe. But the whole idea of being able to have all these different ecosystems running and bringing market caps onto blockchain is massive. And we'll see how it goes. But the LITRO, LITRO, aims to modernize the $6 trillion oil market by replacing slow paper-based settlement with 24/7 on-chain trading and redemption. This would be massive. Let's go through our what to know, and then we're going to move on. A former Petronas trading head is tokenizing crude oil through LITRO token pegging one-to-one to verified physical reserves. Scheduled to roll out a testnet and demo soon ahead of January 2027 launch. LITRO aims to modernize the $6 trillion oil market by replacing slow paper-based settlement with 24/7 on-chain trading and redemption. The project promises both cash and eventual physical oil redemption via a smart logistics system. The world's changing, fam. When I read all of these headlines, all I can see is the future of crypto, the others chart, the total, the Bitcoin. It is just going to explode, and we know it. Absolutely. This was an article that we pulled over later on to check stuff out. 37 million is a staggering number. Just a few years ago, I remember us discussing it, hitting 19,000 cryptos and how insane that was. The number had doubled from 10,000 so fast and tripled just before. 100%, David. And like for us to now be thinking, are you out of here? Okay, I love you. Tell everybody to smash the like button.
Smash the like button.
Say ciao for now. Oh, we can't see you, but we can hear you. Ciao for now. Ah!
Ciao now.
Web3 breakfast in the building. Are you gonna go have some breakfast? All right, I love you. All right, so that being said, we gotta be checking the markets. It is now 9:30. Let's do this. Let's go to Bitcoin. Go to the 15-minute chart, and this is what we're gonna be doing. We're at 73,181. We need to draw some lines on the chart. So this is how we've been doing it. You take the 9:15 candle, we'll draw a line there, and I will, because obviously it's moved up, and I move the line if it does pierce there. And so here's what we're looking at right now: the 9:15. The 9:30 15-minute chart. This is where we are, and so we want to see a breakout either way, and from there, that's what we trade. And you can set your stops. You can set. Look, I would think this looks like it's a directional change now. I was thinking we were going to go up to 75, but we got 2 candles in a row with a long wick up top. That usually means that the liquidity is starting to dry up, and we could see another. Look, they're not as long, but you start to see all of this moving up. We had solid bottoms, and it starts to change. And solid tops, a little, that theory goes out the window. I've seen a lot of these taller wicks like this is usually where you see a directional change. And, this candle's going red right now. So we've got to, and this is what I'm saying, we move this down to where the wick ends. And this is the goalpost. This is the goalpost for the day. This is what we're looking at. This is what I've been trading. Mike and I have been looking at this. I miss a couple trades. Sometimes I get busy. Sometimes my day goes on and I don't get into it again. And I will reiterate this many times to you. Sometimes, and I'll look at you in the eyeballs because I mean it. Sometimes the best trade you can be in is no trade. Patience is a virtue in this game. Just because the market's ripping or dipping doesn't mean you need to hop in and try to catch the wave. That's catching a knife falling usually is how you get hurt, like in real life and in trading. So, look, we're going to keep moving this goalpost down as far as this thing goes. And this is honestly, like, I think on a push to 75, this is a good thing. I had told I'm going to read what I told our Discord this morning and this was in the trade structure. Multi-time frame trend is still bullish. The daily broke out of the descending channel is now pushing into the 72K resistance zone. The key levels right now are 72.5 to 73. Supports at 71 to 70.5 short term. Extended, so a pullback to the 71 area would actually be healthy before continuation higher. If Bitcoin holds above 70,500, the trend structure stays bullish. If we break above 72.6, well, momentum, the next target is 73 to 74.5.
74, but it's going to go a little. I think 75 is on table here. So that's what I'm looking at. That's the information that I gave the crew. We are making a push down here. Remember, this line right here, where do we tell you? This 72.5. That to me is where I want to think about possibly getting in, is down here. We could even lower that down here to, look, 71.8. That's where right now the daily is. But what we could probably do is, can we add an alert on Leapfrog? Here we go. And this does go, actually, so I don't need to do this, but that's right. This does go into the Discord, is when we do hit a Leapfrog level, an alert goes into the Discord saying a momentum change has happened. And so I would think that if we come down and touch the daily, that is a great opportunity to get back in, because we are still bullish. We are still going up. That does not break structure. What's up, honey? Where's your, I don't know where it is. It's probably in your backpack. Okay. Mike, there it is. Look at that. That to me, exactly what I said. Sometimes the best position is no position. He stopped trading Wednesday. He made his goals for the week, Monday through Wednesday, and that's it. Look, that's how you win, man. Don't force something. I love that, Mike. That's, I'm sorry that we didn't get to do Trade Daddies this week. Again, I told everybody in the earlier show that, the flight, I was supposed to get into Chicago on Tuesday, didn't get in until later on Wednesday. And at that point I was freaking fried. And so, we'll be back next week for Trade Daddies. But I love that. I love that, being able to, if you set yourself a goal for what you need to make and you meet that goal, you could obviously continue on, or, play with, I wouldn't say, you're already, if you're trying to meet your goal, you've met, you're playing with house money anyway. But, if you want to keep going to try to make more, you can do that. Or you can say, you know what, we did it. Goal accomplished. Let's go enjoy some more time, versus having to, stare at the charts. And again, that's why we do this. That's the labor of love. It's downstairs on the hallway table. It's downstairs on the hallway table. I'll be off in a few minutes. I'll get it for you. All right. So I believe that is everything. We got the chart lined up right now. Again, we'll take a look at it. It's an indecision candle right now. It's going to probably be one of those days where we just float in this zone. The move was here. You could probably watch it today, and it may just bounce around in here. That's what it did last Friday. It didn't. It went up. It went down. It went up. It went down. It never went out, and then it did, and then it came out. Sometimes you kind of get faked out on that stuff. But, if we get on to the next candle and say we're at 10 o'clock and, we hit a few bottom and then boom, we went up and then we came down, 10:15, we touch it again and then we go up. I would say it's a good idea to, maybe you could pressure trade this zone today if you wanted. You could scalp trade it, put it on a lower time frame. We know, I don't want to do the minute. That's craziness. You put it on the 3-minute. And then you got a little bit different of an idea of what's happening. And if we come down here and say again, we touch down here a few times, and we never pierce it, and we start moving back up, maybe try to get a little scalp trade up to the top. You never know. And if it pierces that, then you win, and vice versa. If we start flirting with the top and it looks like we get rejected and we get sent back down, try throwing a little scalp short. And if we pierce down here, we continue to go down, we hit the daily down here, boom, you just won. Sometimes, and you're not trying to force anything. But if you want to get in there, you know what you're doing, and the indicators are telling you, and you got confluence based on, all different things. You do you, boo. Ain't nobody here. Ain't nobody tell me what to do. And you should always be doing, the trade style that works for you the best, ultimately. We can talk about structure. I can give you advice. We can, as a group, go through these things. But ultimately, you got to be the one that hits buy or sell, long or short, and you gotta know what you're doing. But we can give you the best advice possible. This looks like actually a really good long opportunity to get into this. And if it breaks, great. It could drop right back down. But you know what I'm saying about these long wicks is usually things move in the opposite direction, which it's doing. So we've got 4 more minutes left of the 10:30 candle. Let's go back to the 15-minute and just make sure it's right in the middle. Indecision. We don't know which way it's going to go. But again, if you look down on smaller time frames, you can have a better indication of a scalp opportunity. So, David, Tuesday to Thursday are typically the best trading days. Fridays are typically a payday trap. Mondays, either Asia or UK sessions are very scammy for NYSE market. Asia and UK Mondays, open shows, market discussion. That's that right there. David, dropping the mic. I appreciate that. That's the way to end the show right there. All right, that's going to do it for today. Happy Friday, guys. I'm super glad to be back. I'm going to be changing, not changing, but building and doing more content, some different styles, some short form stuff. I'm actually in negotiations to maybe start doing some interviews, and I'm going to start doing them live and traveling. So, like I'm going to go to Chicago and meet with somebody and do a live interview there. That makes sense because I go there. I got family there. But I've also got the capability to fly anywhere in the U.S. Extremely cheap. I got that Go Wild Pass on Frontier. I freaking love it. $15 anywhere in the country. And so it makes the opportunity to go meet people and do interviews live versus over the computer. Would love to do that. Synergy is always so much better. You get a much better end result in conversation when you do meet somebody in person. So that being said, if anybody is watching and you know a project leader, you know an institutional bigwig, you know someone that is great on camera that you think the conversation would be great, let me know because I would love to start doing those interviews. And yes, I will be doing a ton of interviews. Look, I'll be doing a ton of interviews up in Toronto for sure during consensus Futurist, excuse me. The 100%. But like in between now and then, like again, going to Chicago to do this interview, I have capacity and capability to go anywhere and do that. And so, if maybe, Luca, I will see you in Toronto, but yes, Philly Midas interview, lock it up. Jay, I'll get in touch with you. That would be fun. Go get Philly cheesesteaks and talk crypto, talk Midas. I'm into that. That's probably what we could do. Look, see, I told you it would have been a good pressure trade up to the top. Get in there. You might hit up Toronto too. Love that. Love that. Love that. All right. So before we go, and you see BlackRock's new stake ETH fund. Yes, Mike, I did. That is great. They're giving up, was it 82%? Where's BlackRock? BlackRock staked ETH fund to pay 82% of rewards to investors. That's what it is. We don't see it on the, well, now that we're here, where's our ETFs? ETFs. Let's refresh this sucker. We're extended. We're a little bit long today, and I apologize for keeping you guys long, but let's see. Is the staked ETH chart on here? iShares ETH Trust. It doesn't say iShares. I don't see iShares staked ETH Trust, but maybe eventually it'll be on here. It started yesterday, Thursday, according to that article. So, all right, that does the show. Bring AJ back to his hometown. That'd be fun. AJ and I are going to do an interview soon for sure. That being said, hey, Mamma Mia, Papa P, time to order the pizzeria. Hey. We got a couple orders in here. Luca, he wants a fried panzerotti, just cheese on the inside, some sauce on the side. My guy Jay at Midas saying he wants a plain pep, just so I know. Ha ha ha, love it. Curtis wants a pep with extra pep. Appreciate you guys. And my guy Chad Miller throwing a couple super stickers out today. My guy, I appreciate that so much. I'm throwing them up there one more time. $4.99. Not only that. $9.99. You the guy. You the fam. I appreciate you. Like, totally unnecessary, but goes a long way. I appreciate you so much. All right. No more pizzeria. I don't know if we're making dough or if we're going out today. I'm not sure. Probably making dough. I love making dough. I love making my own pizza. It's so good. You know what's going in it. Even though, like, you go to a good place, like, you're not getting shit. Like, it's just part of the game. I like to make pizza. We like to make the dough. My daughter loves the heart-shaped pizza. We make it almost every week. What I thought was a Valentine's fad is now like a year straight of making heart-shaped pizzas. So,
All right, let's go. Windsor style, you know that. You know that. If you guys don't know what Windsor style pepperoni is, it is julienne pepperoni. It is a much, much better blend flavor of pepperoni. You get more of that nice oil, grease flavor all over the pizza. Windsor knows. They know something. They knew something. They doing it right. And so I've incorporated that. I like to do Detroit dough with Windsor pep. That's what I like. I'm a difficult guy. I like things custom, if you will. All right. Y'all have a very good weekend. Back Monday, in the saddle all week. Got no plans to travel until I go to Chicago to do the interview. And unless Philly. That's an easy one. That's an easy one for me. That's a close trip. Go get some Philly cheesesteaks. Man, that sounds wonderful. All right. Okay, that being said, we are out of here for the day. Peace. In the middle.